All right. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, that's cool. You can get like a reflection of yourself. Okay, sorry. Sorry. That looked really cool. What I was originally going to talk to you about is the Ranger Spear. This thing is actually pretty fun, and it hasn't copped any nerfs yet that I know of. It can do pretty insane damage. I'm running a full Berserker setup right now, so I have full Ascended Berserkers with Scholars in, and this is the current setup. I have a axe on my offhand here. But you could actually do some spear stuff if you wanted to get real fancy with it. But I just kind of wanted to run through the weapon and talk about my experiences with it so far. The Unleashed Ambush that I just did right there, that does this massive wave in front of you, is actually insanely godlike. It does so much damage. And I feel like Spear is a really nice hybrid weapon for a Ranger, which allows you to both be in the Boon Ball and whatnot, so then you still get all your buffs and everything. But then if you have to step back for a mechanic or something like that, you still have a ranged damage option. So I feel like Spear is actually just one of the best all-arounders in the entire game. Just across the board, because of the fact it switches from like melee to ranged and whatnot. Like, it's just kind of crazy in that aspect. But the nice part is that this Spear also has Pierce on it. Albeit it requires a little bit of activation, because the way this Spear works is you've got your Spear auto attack that you see me using here, which is the auto will throw a spear at range if they're not in melee range, and then as you go into melee range, it'll switch to a melee attack chain, which is really cool, and I hope they use that for other weapons. But then they have their other sets of abilities that are also affected by their invisibility. So you have Panther's Prowl here, which is your 5th ability. And this is the sort of core activator for the entire set. So basically, we're going to have a swipe. We're going to have a projectile that does big damage and crits pretty hard. It'll do increased damage against immobilized, disabled, or defiant foes. So if you're throwing it at someone in PvP, since they're mentally disabled, you'll do bonus damage. But as a result of this, if you go into invisibility, then you're going to be able to pierce with this as well. So if we line up all the fellas here, and, oh, well, scuffed at that time. Unfortunately, we'll get revealed as our little debuff there, but the other thing we can do is go into stealth and use our 4th ability, which is an AoE leap that does a bunch of damage, and then when you're in stealth, it will actually get a bonus to do more damage to lower health targets, as well as daze, which is really, really nice. It does bonus damage to all targets, and then, as I said, when you go into stealth, 3-second daze, which is really good for break bars and anything of that category. But yeah, most of the time, I would say just pull with your auto attack, and then from there, you throw 1 or 2 spears, you close the distance as you're getting in with the Spear 2 like that, and then you close it with the Spear 3, or with the Spear, yeah, with the Spear 2. And then you go invis into Warclaw's Engage, and that's where things pretty much melt. So I'll show that to you on one of the next ones over here. The event's gonna be done in a second, which is kind of a shame. So we'll pull this guy. Sometimes I'll pull him with the other ability, with a 3, then 2, invis, 4, dead. Just like that. Ranger Spear, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pretty good weapon, not gonna lie. Big fan, big fan. Comboed with like Strength of the Pack and Alacrity and fancy stuff like that, you get to do some really good damage and have a really good just rotations in general. It fits itself really well. They're really doing better on weapon design with building something that has an identity within itself. Like, for example, if you were to compare this to the axe on Ranger, for example, you throw axe, you throw more axe, you throw big axe, right? I know, it's difficult, right? But Spear, you do all this kind of fancy stuff and actual combos, and, you know, within the weapon, there's a mini game you're playing, which is one of my personal favorite things. I really enjoy the plate spinning playstyle, just because it gives me something to do, but a lot of people aren't a fan of the like plate spinning playstyle. Let's say that 3 times fast. But yeah, Ranger Spear is quickly becoming one of my favorite weapons. I am still annoyed we got Spear before we got Rifle, or either hand pistol. But at the end of the day, being able to have a ranged weapon on this class that isn't just longbow is really, really nice for a change of pace. Allows me to go around and use something different instead of my favorite weapon set that I've been using for far too long. I think we'll have one more thing to bury here, and I think that will probably be it, wherever it's hiding. Somewhere in here. Is it this one? Oh well, it's hiding around here somewhere. But yeah, that is Ranger Spear in a nutshell. I genuinely love this weapon. They did really well with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next expansions bring for my favorite class. Thank you guys for listening, and let me know your thought process on Spear down below as well. I think it's a lot better as a power weapon. I don't really see any of the opportunity for like a Condi angle. I think it's just a raw power weapon, which is really nice to actually, like I said, have another power ranged melee hybrid option. I feel like longbow spear might be my core build unless I'm playing longbow, because you have longbow weapon swap with multi-shot, you have tab over into melee weapon with the unleashed ambush on the spear here, which then hybridizes you for if you want to play in the group or outside of the group. And then you gain access to a bunch of AoE, as well as the cooldown resetting from the multi-shot on longbow. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be the next build that I cover for Ranger. I might make a longbow spear setup. But yeah, let me know what you guys have been finding out with it. If you found anything particularly stupid, any good interactions, do let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.